Have you ever noticed how, as we get older, the smallest things can start feeling a little riskier than they used to? That loose throw rug in the living room, the small step down into the garage, even a change in the flooring from soft carpet to slick tile. These are moments we barely notice in our younger years, but now they can cause a flicker of hesitation, a moment of caution. The truth is that small feeling of unease is your body sending you a quiet warning. For many folks over 60, one unexpected fall can lead to so much more than just a painful bruise. It can mean weeks or even months of difficult recovery. It can mean a sudden loss of independence, or a complete and unwelcome change in how you live your day-to-day life. And here's the nightmare that no one talks about. The fear itself can become a heavier burden than the fall. But what if I told you that many of these falls are not truly accidents? As a doctor who has spent years helping older patients stay active and independent, I've seen a powerful truth that often gets overlooked. The most common cause of a fall isn't an obstacle on the floor. It's hidden in the simple, unconscious way that we walk. Later in this video, I'll tell you the story of Carol, a wonderful 82-year-old gardener who was on the verge of giving up what she loved most because of her fear. Her story, and how 2 tiny exercises completely changed her life, might just surprise you. Today, we're going to talk about 6 simple walking habits that I, along with physical therapists, recommend for staying balanced and steady. These aren't just ideas I've read in a book. They are proven methods I've seen work time and time again for my patients. And please, make sure you stay until the end. The 6th and final habit addresses a hidden danger that exists right inside your own home, and understanding it is absolutely crucial. Before we dive in, I truly want to know, if that fear of falling, even just a little, feels familiar to you, please take a moment to comment a simple yes below. It lets me know I'm not just talking to a camera, and it shows others in our community that they are not alone. Okay, let's get started. Alright, now that we're all here together, let's get into the heart of it. We're going to walk through these 6 simple, yet powerful, walking habits. Remember, this isn't about becoming an athlete. This is about reclaiming your confidence, one steady step at a time. Habit number 1. Head position awareness. Let's start with the very top, your head. So many of us, as we get older, develop the habit of looking down at our feet when we walk. It seems like the safest thing to do, doesn't it? After all, you want to see where you're putting your feet to avoid any obstacles. It's a natural instinct, born from a desire to be cautious. But here's a truth I've seen play out in my office time and time again. That very habit, meant to keep you safe, can actually become one of the biggest reasons for instability. Think of your head as the steering wheel for your entire body. It's heavy, and wherever it goes, your shoulders, spine, and hips are programmed to follow. When your head is constantly tilted downward, it gently pulls your whole upper body forward. Your shoulders start to round, your back begins to hunch, and without you even realizing it, your center of gravity shifts dangerously from your core to a point out in front of your body. This is why you might sometimes feel that little wobbly sensation, or feel like you're perpetually leaning forward, almost chasing your own feet. Your body is constantly fighting to keep from tipping over. The irony is profound. In trying so hard not to fall, we put our bodies in a posture that makes falling much more likely. I remember a patient of mine, a wonderful gentleman named Arthur. He was a retired veteran, always so proud and upright. But in his late 70s, his family noticed he was always staring at the floor when he walked. He confessed to me that he didn't feel as steady as he used to, and looking down was his way of feeling in control. He felt his world was shrinking to the few feet of pavement in front of him. That hunched posture wasn't just affecting his balance, it was affecting his spirit. The solution we worked on was incredibly simple. It's a technique physical therapists call the 80-20 rule. It means you should aim to keep your head up, with your eyes looking forward about 10 to 15 feet ahead of you, for 80% of the time you're walking. You only glance down with your eyes, not your whole head, for about 20% of the time, just to check the terrain. This simple shift keeps your spine aligned, your weight centered, and your balance system working as it should. So, I ask you to make a change. The next time you walk down the hallway or out to the mailbox, consciously lift your gaze. Don't look at your feet. Look at where you're going. You'll feel taller, more stable, and more confident almost immediately. It's a small adjustment, but it makes a world of difference. Habit number 2. arm swing rhythm. Alright, let's talk about something most people completely forget about when it comes to walking: your arms. When you walk, do your arms swing naturally and gently by your sides? Or do they stay a bit stiff, maybe with one hand in a pocket, or clamped tightly onto a purse? It might seem like a small detail, but your arms are one of your body's secret tools for staying perfectly balanced. They are your natural stabilizers. Here's how it's supposed to work. As your right leg steps forward, your left arm should gently swing forward with it, and vice versa. It's a beautiful, rhythmic counterbalance that your body learned when you were just a toddler. This cross-body motion keeps your momentum smooth and your torso stable, preventing you from swaying side to side. But as we get older, this natural rhythm can start to fade. Why does this happen? Often, the root cause is fear. When we're worried about falling, our entire body tenses up. We clench our muscles, lock our arms, and walk almost like we're bracing for an impact. A little arthritis in the shoulders can also contribute, making the movement uncomfortable. The problem is, this stiffness is your enemy. Walking with rigid arms actually throws your balance off even more. It forces your hips and lower back to do all the work of stabilization, which can lead to strain and an unsteady gait. I once had a patient, a lovely lady named Margaret, who had a close call in a grocery store. She realized she always clutched her purse with her right arm pinned to her side. Her entire right side was rigid, while her left side tried to compensate. Her walk was lopsided, and she didn't even know it. We discovered that this simple unconscious habit was the primary reason she felt so unsteady on her feet. So, here is the constructive action you can take starting today. Simply become aware of your arms again. As you walk, focus on keeping your elbows soft, not locked. Let your hands be unclenched. And then, just allow your arms to swing. You're not trying to power walk here. It's not a big, dramatic movement. It's just a gentle, easy, natural rhythm. Even a small swing is better than none. If one arm is weaker or stiffer, just focus on letting the other one move freely. It will still help. This is a habit that costs nothing and requires no special equipment, only a little bit of mindfulness. If this is something you've never really thought about before, I'd love for you to comment the word aware below. Because that awareness, that is truly the first step. Habit number 3. Heel-toe landing. Now let's move down to where the rubber meets the road, your feet. I want you to think not just about where you step, but how your foot lands on the ground. This is critically important. One of the most common and most dangerous changes I see in the walking patterns of older adults is the loss of the natural heel-to-toe motion. Instead, many people begin to walk with a flatter foot, placing the whole foot down at once, which often turns into a shuffle. This shuffling might feel safer because you're keeping your feet closer to the ground, but it's a trap. It dramatically increases your risk of falling. Here's the science of a proper step, made simple. Your heel should always be the first part of your foot to touch the ground. Then, your foot should smoothly roll forward onto the ball of your foot. And finally, you push off with your toes to propel you into the next step. Heel, roll, toe. This sequence is your body's built-in suspension system. It absorbs the shock of impact, protecting your knees and hips. Most importantly, it ensures you properly lift your foot off the ground for the next step. So why do we lose this? As we age, our ankles can become weaker or our joints a bit stiffer. But again, the biggest culprit is often a subconscious fear of falling. We shorten our steps and stop committing to that full rolling motion, thinking it will keep us stable. But the shuffle it creates is a major tripping hazard. A shuffling foot barely clears the ground, making it incredibly easy to catch your toe on the edge of a rug, a threshold between rooms, or a small crack in the sidewalk. I had a patient who couldn't understand why he kept stumbling in his own home. We discovered it was because he was shuffling, and his toe would catch on the transition strip between his kitchen linoleum and the living room carpet. The problem wasn't the floor, it was his footwork. Here's how you can start to retrain your body and mind. Find a safe, clear space in your home, like a hallway. Take off your shoes and socks for a moment. Now, walk slowly and deliberately, focusing on just one thing. Feeling your heel touch the floor first. Don't overthink it, don't exaggerate it. Just focus on that sensation. Heel, then the rest of the foot. Walking barefoot on a soft carpet or a towel is a wonderful way to do this, as it gives your brain extrasensory feedback. It might feel a bit strange at first, but your body knows this movement. It's been doing it for decades. You're just waking it up from autopilot. Reclaiming that heel-to-toe pattern will make you feel more grounded, more stable, and far less likely to trip over those small things. It's a simple fix for a very dangerous problem. Habit number 4. The power of small steps. This next habit might surprise you because it seems to go against everything we think about efficient walking. The advice is this: take smaller steps. That's right. Intentionally shortening your stride just a little bit can be one of the most effective things you do to improve your stability and prevent a fall. Many of us, especially from our younger, faster years, are accustomed to walking with long, confident strides. It feels natural, like we're covering more ground. But as our bodies change with age, that long stride can become a hidden liability. Here's why. When you take a very large step, your front foot lands far out ahead of your body's center of gravity. For a split second, your weight is shifted backward, putting you in a slightly off-balance position. It also increases the stress on your hip and knee joints. Younger bodies with lightning-fast reflexes can handle this constant state of controlled falling. But as we get older, our reaction time slows just a fraction. That split second of instability is all it takes for a trip or a dizzy spell to turn into a serious fall. A long stride gives you less control when you need it the most. Smaller steps, on the other hand, keep your feet more directly underneath your body. Your center of gravity stays right there with you, centered and stable. This gives you immensely better balance and a much quicker reaction time if you do encounter an uneven surface. You're always in a position of strength, ready to adjust. Furthermore, taking shorter steps naturally encourages you to lift your feet properly, reducing the risk of the shuffling we just talked about. I've seen this with so many of my patients. They come in worried about their balance, and one of the first things we do is simply have them shorten their stride. The change is almost immediate. They stop feeling like they're reaching for the ground and start feeling like they are firmly planted on the ground. Here's something you can try right now. Walk across your living room at your normal pace and count how many steps it takes. Now walk back, but this time take slightly smaller, maybe slightly quicker steps. Count them again. If your step count went up, you're doing it right. You'll likely feel much more solid and secure. It's a simple mental adjustment that can have a profound physical benefit. Did this tip surprise you? If so, do me a favor and comment wow below. It's one of those simple secrets that so many people are shocked to learn. Habit number 5. Core strength is balance strength. Now we need to talk about the true foundation of your balance. And it might not be where you think. It isn't in your legs, and it isn't in your feet. Your stability, your ability to stand tall and walk steady, starts right here, in your center, your core. I'm talking about the interconnected web of muscles in your abdomen, your lower back, and your hips. These muscles are your body's anchor. When they are strong and engaged, they hold your posture upright and keep you steady. When they are weak, your whole body has to work overtime just to keep you from toppling over. As we age, it's very common for these crucial muscles to weaken, often from years of sitting more and moving less. You may not even notice it happening. It can show up as a slight slump in your posture, a new ache in your lower back, or that shaky feeling you get when you have to stand for a long time. These are all signs that your body's anchor is slipping. This brings me to the story of Carol, the 82-year-old gardener I mentioned earlier. Carol's passion was her rose garden, but she had started falling. Once in the yard, once in her kitchen. Her confidence was shattered, and she was afraid she'd have to give up her garden for good. Her daughter brought her to see a physical therapist, and the diagnosis was a surprise. Her legs were still quite strong. The problem was an incredibly weak core. Her muscles had simply forgotten how to stay engaged. The therapist gave her 2 tiny exercises to do every single day. They were so simple, they almost seemed pointless. The first was to stand by a sturdy chair or kitchen counter and just lift 1 foot an inch off the ground. She was told to hold it for 5 seconds without wobbling, then switch feet. The second was to do while she was brushing her teeth. She was told to gently pull her belly button in toward her spine, just enough to feel those deep abdominal muscles tighten, and hold it. That's it. Within a few weeks, Carol's transformation was remarkable. She came back and told me she felt glued to the floor in a good way. She said she no longer felt like a gust of wind could blow her over. That invisible strength she had built in her center gave her the confidence to go back to her roses. You can do these exact same exercises today. While you wait for your coffee to brew, practice that one-legged stand. While you watch the evening news, gently engage your core. It's not about crunches or going to a gym. It's about consistency. A few seconds here and there, throughout the day, will rebuild your body's anchor and make every single step you take feel safer. Habit number 6. Awareness of floor patterns and transitions. Alright, we've arrived at our 6th and final habit. And this is the one I promised you, the hidden danger that catches so many people completely by surprise. It's not about clutter on the floor or big, obvious obstacles. It's about the floor itself. It's the small, subtle changes in surfaces, textures, and even lighting that our brains don't always register in time. As we get older, it's a completely normal part of the aging process for our depth perception to change and our reaction time to slow down just a little bit. This means that when you walk from a bright, sunlit room into a dimmer hallway, or when you step from a soft carpet onto a hard, glossy tile floor, your brain takes a split second longer to adjust to the new information. Your foot might already be in motion before your brain has fully processed the change in surface. And in that tiny, fractional delay, that's when your balance can falter. It's the cause of countless near misses and falls that happen right inside the perceived safety of our own homes. I'll never forget the story of Robert, a sharp 78-year-old gentleman from Ohio. He was active and always very cautious. But one day, he nearly had a terrible fall in his own kitchen. His wife had just cleaned the floor, and while it wasn't wet, the glossy shine of the polish played a trick on his eyes. He told me he didn't even think twice about it until his foot started to slide. That scare prompted him to start a new habit, one that sounds almost silly but was incredibly effective. Every single time he walked from one room to another, he would quietly say the name of the surface he was about to step onto. Carpet, he'd think as he left the living room. Tile, as he entered the kitchen. Wood, as he walked down the hall. That simple act of naming it was a form of mindfulness. It forced his brain to consciously acknowledge the transition, giving his body that crucial split second to prepare for a different texture and level of grip. He swears it changed everything. You can, and should, do the same. When you're walking, start labeling the floor changes in your mind. Be extra cautious of those shiny, glossy floors. Reflections can easily confuse your depth perception. And if you wear bifocals, please take extra care when stepping off a curb or walking downstairs. The shift in the lens can distort how you see the ground directly in front of you. Always give yourself an extra moment. Just pause when you enter a dimly lit room. Let your eyes adjust before you proceed. This habit is all about staying present. It's about respecting that your brain needs just a little more time to keep you safe and giving it that gift. And so, we come to the end of our time together today. Here is a simple truth that no one often says out loud. One of the hardest parts of growing older isn't just the aches in our joints or the new medications we have to remember. It's the fear. It's the quiet, creeping fear that sneaks in with it. The fear of falling. That fear is heavy. It can make you say no to a walk in the park you used to love. It can make you hesitate before visiting your grandchildren. It can make the very home you've lived in for decades feel like a place filled with risks. But what I truly hope you take away from our conversation today is this. You have more control than you think. The 6 simple habits we've walked through. They aren't complicated medical procedures or expensive programs. They are simple, quiet adjustments. They are knowledgeable. And they are your tools to begin reclaiming your confidence, to push back against that fear, one steady, purposeful step at a time. As we wrap up, we've explored 6 critical habits that can truly help us navigate our golden years with more safety and grace. But knowledge, as we all know, is only powerful when we put it into action. So now, I have one important question for you. What is the one small change you promise to make for yourself, starting this week? It could be as simple as, I promise to keep my head up when I walk to the mailbox. Or perhaps, I will try that simple core exercise while I brush my teeth. There is no promise too small. Please, Share your personal commitment in the comments below. Reading them inspires me, and more importantly, it lets others in our community see they are not alone in taking that first step. Let's inspire each other. And if you found real value and a sense of hope in our time together today, a simple like on this video is a wonderful way to let me know. To make sure you continue on this journey with us, and never miss another conversation full of practical wisdom, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It's more than just a button. It's you joining a community of friends, all dedicated to navigating this journey together, with strength and with grace. And finally, think of just one person, a friend, a sibling, a neighbor, who might need to hear this message. Please, share this video with them. You never know whose life you might touch with such a simple act of caring. Thank you for spending this time with me. Take good care of yourself, and take those next steps with strength, with purpose, and with confidence. I'll see you in the next video.